Welcome to Top Tier Trader. I'm your host, Grant Hardy, and we have a very special interview today with Natalia. She's from Australia. She's currently living in the Dominican Republic, and she has a really exciting, very cool story that she wants to share today in this interview. So I'm going to let her talk. And how you doing, Natalia?
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm doing amazing.
Of course.
Blessed, grateful. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm excited today to hear about what you've done. So you've taken a top tier challenge, right? Past, what was your account size that you got funded?
So, the one that I got, the first account that I passed was a 200K account.
Mhm.
But I did take, I did purchase a few challenges before that, and I had failed in before I passed the 200K account.
So how many challenges did you take?
So the first time I ever took any prop firm challenges was top tier.
Hmm.
Um, I actually got inspired and through Q and him trading US 30, and then he opened like top tier. So I got inspired by that. So I just never had taken it. So I failed that the first one, overdraw, drawdown limit. The second time I took it was the same day. So I failed it within like 5 minutes.
Oh
Same day
no.
I took it
Yeah.
again. I was like a bit impulsive, and then I took it again and I passed my first phase. I had been trading for about maybe 10 months at that point.
So you from the point you started trading to you took a challenge, you've only been trading 10 months.
10, 11 months.
And
Yeah.
you passed on the third time
Second time,
the first phase. Okay.
the
Second
first
time.
phase.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And at that time, I come from a business background. So at the time I was closing down my businesses. I was learning how to trade on the side because of COVID. And I lost my businesses because of COVID. So it pushed me into learning how to trade. I actually had a 7-figure business before this since I was 20, and I lost everything. And it pushed me to want to learn how to trade. So I'm a very intense focused person. So after 10, 11 months, I'm like, okay, I was good at trading. I had only been trading US 30 for about 6 months. I started with Bitcoin. So I passed my first phase.
Hmm.
And then I actually left back to Australia where I had to deal with all of that. So when I was trying to pass the second phase, I wasn't even mentally there. So I failed it. And then I didn't take another top tier challenge until about 5 months later, like 5, 6 months later. I really went back and really studied. I realized that I had to focus on my risk management. Like my risk management was wild at that
Right.
time. I used to have fun, $1,000 account, risk, 500, and then,
Yeah, right.
it just
Yeah.
wasn't sustainable, especially not the way that prop firms would like us to trade.
Right.
So, and then I took it again. I purchased, I became really good. I passed other firms' challenges. I'm like, okay, let me do it again. I got a little bit greedy. So I purchased a 100K, 200K, and 300K. And then I put them on a copy trader, and I put two on a copy trader, and I traded all of them. And then I lost the first phase, but there was the one 200K that I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to apply a different strategy because I
Right.
have three ways
So
to
so
approach
who
the market.
who did you learn from originally? Are you just kind of did you look towards a bunch of people? Did you learn from Q? Who are you learning from in this time span?
Okay, so I discovered trading through IM Academy, and then from there I kind of went just different. I just learned from different
Trying to
people.
find what worked for you?
Yeah, I purchased so many courses. Q was one of them. I did study his course. I learned a lot of my Fibonacci work from Q, and also I got a lot like inspired by US 30. There's not many traders that trade US 30, so
So you only trade US 30.
I only trade US 30. Sometimes NAS, but it's like one off. Like when I know that I know the move, I know NAS is going with it. So, but yeah,
Man,
that's
you're
it.
brave. So you said 26, I think you told me earlier. So you're 26, you had 7-figure business, lost it, learned to trade. now you're traveling the world, right? And you have a funded account, and then you're excuse me. And now you're, I mean, it sounds like you're killing, like not many people do that. Like it's really inspirational to be
Every
able to see that.
I'm humbled. Thank you.
Yeah, that's very cool. So what is your strategy?
So I base my whole mind. I wouldn't say strategy, is more mindset. I realized that trading, the people that move the money, is it's all a business. So I don't like to say, hey, like I trade smart money concept. I don't think like it's a strategy. I think it's a way of just understanding the market and the economical state.
Right,
And then I apply the technicals.
right.
So
So go ahead.
yeah. So my technicals is literally institutional trading, smart money concept. I don't use indicators.
Mhm.
Um,
So how long are
and
you usually in a trade for?
so I have a strategy which is a 1 to 3 risk to reward, which is just like a daily strategy that I use.
Uh,
It's more scalping, like New York Open.
okay.
And then I have a strategy that I apply when there is news releases, or fundamental, reason. So that could either be a swing trade or it
Mhm.
can be a scalp. Usually because US 30 moves so fast and it usually comes back, I
You're
tend to
brave.
scalp.
If
Mm,
you're swing trading US 30, you're brave. That's pretty cool.
it's rare, but there is times like, you know, understanding the economy, like there's just things that you can't control. Like I sold from the top when the last time like US 30 came all the way down. Like I sold it from the top and I held it halfway through. So there's times, but it's very
Was
rare.
that on your funded account or was that on your personal?
It was on a personal, and I have another account as well, but it was really little. It was my first one.
Yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible. So before I ask you to get into the metric dashboard, how did you know US 30 was at the top?
Um, that was another time, but how I knew, it was actually from fibs and just structure.
Right.
And that was, and then economy, like understanding like where we're at, like what is the Federal Reserve doing? Like what
Right.
does it mean?
Do you
What
have a good understanding and knowledge of like monetary policy and
a lot.
interest rates and all
I
that?
read everything, and that's a game changer for me because it gives me confidence in the market. It's not just technicals. It's like, okay, I know it's technicals and I know what's going on with the economy. I know these rates are affecting it in a negative way.
I've always said that it's really important to understand like everything. If you want to be good, you want to be a professional, you have to understand everything about what you're doing. And that even goes to, monetary policy, stuff like that. So I'm going to ask you if you could maybe screen record and go into your dashboard, and we can maybe go through some of your trades and see your trade history and
Okay.
go over your account that you.
Okay, let's do it.
So this was your funded account, correct?
This was my funded account. So I have breached my account, which I can go into with you guys as well. But
Mhm.
this was originally my funded account. I withdrew 85,000 and some.
85,000.
Yes.
And that was to you. That wasn't that was after the split, correct?
Yes, that was after the split.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm really, really grateful for God, honestly. So, I traded the account. So this account, I traded it 4 times when I
Mhm.
made the money. And this account specifically is only for this is my fundamental account pretty much.
Okay.
So I only traded news. I traded 4 different events. I traded FOMC. I traded a Fed Powell speech. I traded FOMC on the 24th of November. I traded Fed Powell speech on the 30th of November. I traded NFP on the 1st, I believe, or the 3rd. And then I traded CPI and Fed rate. So I
Okay.
traded it 5 times. My bad. I traded it 5 times. I believe, and I had 2 winning days. No, three, 2 winning days, 3 losing trade days.
Okay.
So out of the 2 winning days, the first winning day, I bought my account up to 28,000 in profit. I hit number 9 on the top tier chart that time. And then a week later, I hit number 1
Wow.
with 128,000 made. Then obviously I had a couple lessons, brought it back down to 123.
That's so cool. And you did this you said over the course of a couple days, right?
From the
Yep.
24th to the 14th, I traded. And then
So,
once I had my profit, I'm like, that's it. I'm locking it. I'm not trading it. I'm gonna withdraw. And I'm just really patient. I'm not very impulsive. I really strategize. Like
wow.
before I did this, I actually did this on demo for 4 months.
Uh-huh.
And 4 months, I made, like, obviously demo, I made 1.5 million just testing this over and
Right.
over again.
Well, the fact that you were able to make money on demo, which 99% of people can do, and then you were able to translate that into this and, get an $85,000 payout, that's not including maybe other funded accounts or your personal accounts, is really incredible. So if you drop a
Yeah.
course, let me know.
So I'll show you the trade history too.
Wait, if you could
Um,
go back before I want to
yes,
see,
of course. My bad.
no, you're good. If you could go down, I want to see like your win to loss ratio and your winning to losing ratio. Okay, so you had a 49% to 51% loss rate, and then you had a $3,800 win rate with an $1,100. Yeah, so you were right about that 1 to 3 risk to reward. Wow,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah. So like I'll lose like I'll lose like 2%, 2.5. I don't like to go further than that in a day. Like what happened now, the reason I breached it was actually because it was a big gap. Like it was almost impossible. I also use EAs to protect me.
Uh-huh.
Um, they put like automatic stop loss or equity protector, which cuts things off. So just to layer like extra protection,
Right,
because sometimes manual trading, like emotions can get to you, or just a little bit, or like widen the stop loss a little bit more. But
right,
I realized that like risk management is so important. So like the reason I lost it honestly is like one in a lifetime type thing, because like I got stuck in a big gap. It was 200-point gap.
right.
So like
So
it was like
it was what?
it was almost impossible to control it. So but sorry to
Oh, go
interrupt.
ahead. Um, so what are your lot sizes that you're using on all these trades?
Depends on,
Risk that on that 1 to 3 risk reward.
so it depends on the account size. So obviously my account size grew, but I start with a 0.35 or a
Uh-huh.
0.4.
Okay.
But my stop loss is generally 20 points.
Okay. Nice. Now let's go back into your trade history, and then I kind of want to, see through where you were doing really well, and then maybe we can go to the end and see what happened and how you lost the account.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I guess, yep, this is pretty much. Should we go from the start?
Yeah, you can just kind of run through it. You don't have to go through each trade.
Yeah, so we have here 12. Let's see. Let's open all of these. Okay, so we have here the 13th, I believe. That was my biggest. Okay, so from here, the 13th all the way here. These were the trades that I took on the 13th. It was a news release. And that's when I made the six-figure day, pretty much.
Right.
I did take NAS that time, which is very rare. But he actually made up for like 40,000 of my win. So if I would have just traded US30 that time, then it would have been a little bit less. Then yeah, so what I pretty much did, I just as soon as one trade is in profit, it just like kept stacking up pretty much.
Right.
And that's why there's a lot of trade. But yeah,
So you were in these trades where you made 20,000 here. So you were in that trade for less than a day, right?
yeah, actually, I have a video of me closing it if you want me to show
Yeah,
it.
let's see it. That's awesome.
Okay, cool.
You're the
Because
first one to do that. That's cool.
yeah, I actually have a few things here just to like show people and just inspire other people. Like this
Yeah,
is really possible.
I love
Um,
this.
okay. So this was the day I was in the trade for 2 minutes and 18 seconds in total.
Mhm.
Um, so pretty much I trade on my MT4 on my actual computer because I
Right.
manage multiple, accounts. I have multiple funded accounts and then obviously a few live accounts. So this was one of the recordings when I closed top tier out. Oh, hold on. I don't think if I can yeah, we're just gonna have to. I think that's it. It's for some reason I wasn't on the actual there you go.
Okay.
So I opened it up. It's not as clear, but that's pretty much when I closed it. I actually had floating 150, but I
Wow.
wasn't quick enough to close it all.
Yeah,
Um
so
because
fast.
yeah, it was really fast. My hands were shaking. I didn't really, I had tested it over and over again, but like to see it, it almost didn't really feel real.
Right.
Um, but I had the target for about 2 weeks prior, like where I wanted to go and why I exited there. It was actually really strategic. Um, in a way, it's called a liquidity zone, is
Right.
when it was started liquidates people. So that's where I actually exited. A
Right.
lot of people could have held it and got it greedy and said, "Oh wow, I'm up!" Like it's already going up because mine was a buy, but I actually exited. So it's not just about getting in the trade. I think it's about knowing when to exit as well and
See, I
being
want
sad.
everyone that's like listening right now, I want y'all to rewind and listen to everything that she just said, because so many times if you don't go in with a plan, then you're not going to come out, with the results that you want. So you had a plan, you were patient too. That was the biggest thing. You waited, it's what you sounded like before, you know, you had this come into fruition. So you didn't force it, you waited, you were patient, you had a plan, you understand, and you had a six-figure day. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, this can change somebody's life, now.
Absolutely.
You can put more money in the live account, this you can diversify, you can open a business,
Yep.
and so many more doors open up for you because of discipline, and patience.
Yep. Well, what do you want to talk about the screen that you have open now?
Yeah, so this was actually the when I got to number one, the day after, so but
Uh,
I had a 61% return, which was pretty incredible. I think I'm really proud of that.
yeah.
At the time, I had the profit factor was actually 6 at the time, so it's decreased now because of my other losses, but yeah.
So
So
did you go in heavier on this trade where you had a 61% return, and what, that was a day, right?
no, that's combined.
Oh,
In
combined. Okay.
Yeah,
So to
yeah.
make that 20,000, it was the same lot size, same risk to reward, maybe bigger reward, but it was the same lot size that you used, or
I
did
actually
you go
used
in heavier?
the the first 20,000.
Yeah,
There's the first, okay. It was 28,000. I went in. No, it was smaller lot sizes.
even
It was,
smaller. Wow,
yeah, it was smaller lot sizes.
incredible.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because I went in heavier on my second big winning day because I was already in profit.
Right. Okay. Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible. So yeah, then you were at first at one point. That's really cool. Let's go back now. Okay, so you did all this, you got your payout. Let's go back to your trade history and let's go through your where you started to lose the account,
Okay.
if you want to go into that.
Sure. So, um, so this account, I traded it. I didn't trade it after. Hold on, give me one moment.
Oh,
Give
good.
me one.
Good.
Okay, I didn't want that to be in the video. I didn't want that to be in the video because my dog was barking. So, okay, so let me know when to stop.
No, start. You're good.
So, okay, so I didn't trade my account once I finished the Fed rate meeting. Like I said, this is my news account. I didn't trade it. I waited for my payout. I got my account back again. I traded PMI on the 4th of January.
Mhm.
I hit stop loss, which is, let me just go to the date, I think. So, I don't mind, for me personally, I don't mind hitting stop loss, because when I do, it's nothing crazy. So like here I was using a 0.4. I took, well, this was an accident.
Oh.
I took a buy. Okay, I hit stop loss. It wasn't anything crazy. Um, but the next day, okay, this one, I took 4 trades and it would have been okay. I did a 0.5, 0.5, 0.3, 0.3. But the problem is, and I'm gonna show you on the chart, the problem is this, and I'm actually gonna go in right now, just to show you quickly, because it's easier to explain by just looking. Okay, so I am gonna go in and show you exactly what happened. Wait, where's this? Sorry, I got the wrong one.
So what time frame are you typically trading? So this is the hour chart. Are you trading? You said you were scalping. So what time frame
Yes,
do you go through?
I'm gonna go, I'll go over my strategy. Just gonna show you like the lesson and why I lost my account.
Okay.
So that way you guys can understand and everybody out there can understand that sometimes things we can't control.
I'm digging the
And
pink candles.
oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so okay. No, it was the 6th. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about today. I'm sorry.
You're
It
good.
was this.
All right, and what month is this, by the way?
Yeah, where am I? Okay. If you guys can cut that, like that doesn't need to be there. Okay, here we go. Okay. So let me go here. It was the 6th of January. What time is this? Okay. Let me go down. Let me go down. Okay. Okay, so what happened when I lost my account? So usually I'm somebody that risks really, really little. But sometimes there's things that we cannot control, especially if you are going to trade news. You have to understand that like the market moves really, really volatile, and there's sometimes things that we can't control, like gaps and slippage. So I'm somebody that account for slippage all the time. Since I trade news, like I have to count in the slippage. That's why I have EAs that help me and they support me. So I do have the account that allows EAs. So what happened with this is I analyzed it and I was looking for a buy. The reason being is because we were really low and liquidity was at the top. That's part of my strategy. So when I went in for a buy, even if I went in for a buy, you know, a second before, it would have had already gapped. But the problem wasn't the gap. The issue is that when the next signal, like the next tick came to the market, it actually gapped all the way back down within a matter of seconds. So that is why I actually lost my account. So I just want to show you here, like just quickly so you guys can understand what we go just faster. So in that sense, you know, as much as you can test strategies, the point of this is as much as you can test strategies, sometimes there's things that we cannot control. And I want to let everyone know that even though things like this happen, you must keep going, because there is things that we cannot control sometimes, but as long as you keep going, your risk to reward is going to even out. I know that when I do take the trade and the trade does go my way, I'm having a big risk to reward. But sometimes things like this happen where things we can't control. So what happened is I entered and the trade actually all the way. So like you can see here that even from here to here, it was like 240 points. And the problem is not the gap, because I'm protected from the gap. You know, I have an automatic break even, stop loss, you know, all of that. I don't play with my risk management. But the problem is that when it found the tick, because this was the entry, as you can see here in the actual thing, 33195. That was these was the losing trade, 6K, 5K, 3K, 4K, which is big losses for me. You can see here that 195, like in this thing, is 160, is a different broker, but it was actually the top. So when the signal came back, you know, we were already 100 points down, and by the time you click close and everything shuts, it was already like down here, you know, it already came all the way back. So that's the reason I lost the account. I wouldn't say because I'm greedy, my psychology, or over trading.
Just a market phenomenon that happened.
Yeah, it's just the market. But other than that, honestly, like I can guarantee I would have another 100K payout this month.
I believe it. The good news is though, right? So even though this happened, you lost the account due to factors, you know, out of your control. You still, you were smart and you took your payout, you took your money, you know, and then I have full faith that you're gonna pass another one. If you can go ahead and exit out of the screen share.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna exit here. So would you like me to go over my strategy?
Oh yeah. Actually, yeah, go over your strategy real quick.
Okay. And then I can also go over the winning trade, the 6-figure trade as well, like what I was thinking, why I took it and stuff. Okay. So let me just clean my chart. So you know what? I'm gonna go to the winning trade since I'm gonna draw my strategy. So just to keep it simple, I like a clean chart. That's something Q actually said, like clean your chart every Sunday, like you want to trade with a clean chart. So I always remember that, and I always kept it because I'm someone that used to have so much markings all over my chart. So I do look at the daily time frame, but it's not, sometimes I'll look at important structures. And in this instant, I did look at the daily in order to get the 6-figure trade, how I had it marked. I did look at the daily, but it's not something that I use every single day. What I noticed is that something that a lot of people have to understand is that trading is a business. I come from the entrepreneurial world, so someone either has to lose or someone either has to make money, and there's usually people that are running the show. So who is running the show in trading? Like, if I want to be a trading professional, I need to understand who's running the game. So I started realizing, okay, who has the most money? And the most money is the banks. They're the institutions. They're the ones that really move all the money. Only the top 10 banks in the world that move the market, they control 58% of the actual market of the movement. So if I understand this information, if I have a clothing store, I'm always going to understand what my competitor is doing.
Right.
If I have a beauty salon, I had beauty salons, I knew what my competitor was doing. So now me coming into to trading, I'm treating it like a business. I need to know why, when and where the big money is going to go in the market, because I want the same entries as them. I don't want to have a big stop loss. I want to have the best entry.
Right.
And that's why I focus on, no drawdown type of entries. That pretty much, I don't like to be in a losing trade. Like, it has to go straight into profit or nothing.
Very precise with it.
Very precise. So what I noticed is that obviously this is on a daily, and we've been on a downtrend for sometimes ever since, they decided that they wanted to increase the Fed rate hike, and they stopped printing money. That's when we actually stopped, and we actually fell. So we had this lower high, and we had broken this lower high. So I'm like, okay, if we've broken the lower high, in the economy right now, it's almost impossible for it to keep going up. There has to be a point of reversal at some point. And we had already broken this lower high. So the only way that we can break a lower high is if the institutions are taking liquidity and they're preparing to come back down. So I used a fib. So for me to calculate liquidity entries, like once the market has been liquidated, I like to use the fib. And my fib settings are actually Q's fib settings. Like I said, he actually taught me a lot of the fib work. So what I did is I grabbed it from the top to the bottom, from the higher low to the lower low. And I actually want to go to my actual chart, sorry, because this is not my chart. Remove drawings. Okay. So I took it from here to here. Okay, so in my fib levels, I have a negative 110 and I have a negative 120.
Right.
And a lot of my entries, majority of my entries, are actually based on this fib level. So these fib levels, I call them liquidity entries, institutional liquidity entries. And what I notice as well, I trade with confluences. So I don't just use one thing. I grab multiple different things in market structure and I add it together. The more, the better.
Right.
And then on top of that, I add fundamentals as well. So if I go and I check here on the left, on this area right here, you can see there is structure. And that is the structure when, the market broke structure before it started falling all the way down. So that's a really important area in the market. Not only is it important, but this is actually where something called it's called an imbalance. So an imbalance is also smart money concept, but it's pretty much a hole that hasn't been filled. So I knew that there was a structure there. That was the break of structure before it came down. On top of that, I have the liquidity entry, which I usually take. It even works on the 1 minute, on the 1 hour. It's not just the daily, but in this instant, it was the daily. And when daily happens, it's big.
Right.
Like the big moves, and it doesn't happen often. These are the swing trading type of moves. So I seen that. So that's why I had highlighted this box. So on the daily, that's what I did. So I'm just gonna mark this up here because I'm gonna remove my fib. I don't like to have my fibs on my chart. So I just label this liquidity one and I remove this. So once I go in, I notice, and I'm actually gonna remove that little wick right there. Once I go in on the 1 hour, like I said, I look at the daily just to get my direction in the month, in the week. But I trade the 1 hour. That's the highest time frame that I will trade. Because I feel like US 30 is way too wicky and it goes,
Right. Yeah.
it's too much, to do. It's almost not sustainable. So 1 hour for me is actually perfect. And what I realized here on the 1 hour, first of all, we're on top of the lower high already. On top of that, I knew that we were going to have the Fed rate, the last Fed rate hike of the year.
Mhm.
And I also knew that there was the last CPI, which everybody was waiting for with anticipation, because based on that was going to be the decision that Jerome Powell was going to make for the Fed rate hike. So I knew that already we were at such a high level that we have to come down eventually.
Right.
So we found this top right here.
Mhm.
And because we found this top, let me just do this. Because we found this top, this top was made when Fed Powell spoke, which is the one that I had traded. And I actually literally did the same thing. I took this top and I'm like, okay, this is before CPI, like we had been consolidated for a little bit. This week doesn't actually exist, but for some reason it's on this broker, but it doesn't actually exist. So I said, okay, I'm going to go in liquidity one, liquidity two, liquidity one. This is my box. Like this is my target. This was my target. So I originally didn't want to buy the market. I was looking to sell the market
Right.
for many weeks. Oops. I was looking to sell the market. I knew that market was going to liquidate during these news events. It was going to liquidate this point and start making its way down. And 2023, I believe that the market is going to go down. So the reason I actually bought was because I understand that with CPI comes volatility. And
Mhm.
if I want to have a high probability trade where, like, I know for sure I'm going to have a volatility, I know for sure is going to go, a certain way, I'm going to use CPI. So the reason I actually bought back up is because when CPI was getting close, I wanted to sell, but when CPI was getting close, I said, okay, like it's just in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
This is going to liquidate. So I said, either I can sell it after the drop, because I sometimes trade after the drop, like if I don't really know the direction, or I can just catch the volatility of CPI. So I had to make a decision. So I ended up entering for the buys, and that's the reason as well I exited. I literally exited at the top, like,
That's awesome. And that was your
and,
six-figure trade?
and that was my 6-figure trade. So
Wow.
pretty much this was it. Hold on, let
Cool.
me go to 1 minute. Oops, no, actually like 15 minutes. Let's do 15 minutes. This was pretty much it. I think the trade, I went into the trade here.
You just held it all the way up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how in depth that you've gone with your strategy and this big six-figure trade that you made. And
That's
I'm
it.
excited to see, on your neck. Hopefully we can do another interview and you can go through and have something even bigger and better. I mean, yeah, so that was your exit right there at your box up there.
Literally at my liquidity one and within my box, and that's the reason I exited. It liquidated. And I was originally meant to sell up here, but when I closed that 6-figure trade, my hands were just shaking and I just couldn't keep going. So I was just grateful, but I knew that it was gonna fall, and it hasn't even came back there since then.
See, a perfect example. I'm glad that you went through this and explained it. Your patience paid off. You had a plan, you executed it, and you had a 6-figure day. So that's amazing. So hopefully everyone watching this right now can really learn through everything that, oops, at the table. Hopefully everyone watching right now can learn, and replicate what you did, because we want everyone to, have success and win. And I love how in depth that you actually understand the market. So I trade very similarly. So I know and see everything. I see everything that you're talking about, and it's really cool. So if you want to exit out of this, we
Sure.
can kind of start wrapping it up here. I do have, so you are going to take another challenge, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have anything like special? You're going to go on vacation? What are you going to do?
Um,
You don't
we're
have
just
to answer if you don't want to, but
we're just working. I'm just
yeah.
working.
Yeah.
I never okay, so I never really I've always really just traded. That's it. Like I wasn't really focused on building my brand. So that's one of my goals, to build my brand now. Maybe
Okay.
as a trader, I am, a woman in this trading industry. So I feel like I can be a voice to many women out there, because I don't feel like there's many women traders. There is a few, respect to them, and I really appreciate them, but we need more. And I just want to duplicate more women, and that's it. Just build my brand. I wasn't really focused on building my brand. I just wanted results.
Right. That's good. So you get the results, then build your brand, and then you can teach through, actual experience. So that's amazing. Do you want to shout out your Instagram so that way help build your brand?
Sure. It's Natalia with double A at the end, Salinas
All right,
with
we'll
double A.
we'll, we'll get it. We'll put it up on the screen and put it in the description. So thank you very much, Natalia, for your story, your in-depth analysis on your trades, and it was really cool to see. So hopefully we get to do another one when you
Of
pass your
course.
next account,
Of
and
course.
keep inspiring people. It's really cool everything you've done, traveling the
Thank you.
world. So, all
I
right,
appreciate
of course.
having
Well,
me up here. And I do want to say something
go ahead.
before we finish. Anyone that's watching this and you're contemplating like whether or not take a funded challenge, um, it is so important that you understand risk to reward. Like when you're trading a funded challenge, yes, you have to pay for it. Yes, you have to pass several phases. But it's only going to make you a better trader, because they're not asking you to be a worse trader. They're asking you to be a more strategic, disciplined, patient trader. And once you do pass it, the world is yours, because first of all, you're risk free. Like really, you're risk free because you're getting the refunds, and now you're able to make a larger capital using companies like Top Tier, who are funding traders that don't have money. So I think that the key is to not wanting to make money. The key is to focus on the skill set, become so good at it that now you can make 6 figures off a prop firm and put that in your real account, or diversify it, put it into crypto. I don't know, non-financial advice. But
That's
yeah, that's it.
amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great way to finish it and end it. So you hit the nail on the head there.
Of
So,
course.
all right. Well, this concludes this interview with Natalia. I'd like to thank her again for coming on. Remember to please like, subscribe, comment, and remember, don't live to trade, trade to live.